the Rutgers men's basketball team. That is head coach Steve Pikiell joining us here. Steve, thanks so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
Guys, I appreciate you having me on. I love to talk hoops in June.
Oh, man, right. Especially when you have two guys that are some pretty big headlines when it comes to the NBA draft. So, Coach, I'll start right there with Philadelphia picking at number 3 and looking to still be in that win now mode right now. Ace Bailey's come up, as you would imagine, as you know, a lot here in Philadelphia since they landed the 3rd overall pick. How would Ace fit into a situation as a younger player that he is in an environment here where it looks like Philadelphia is still trying to make sure winning is a priority at the moment?
Well, first and foremost, like he's an energy giver. He's like a wonderful, young man. I enjoyed, coachable and talented. He can really score, guys, and he can make plays. I laugh sometimes, all the scouts and I've seen him from his freshman year on. Every single year he's grown, he's gotten bigger. He's 18 years old. He'll get drafted. He won't turn 19 until August. He is as talented a player as there's been, in the country, really. And the things he can do, he can get a shot off at any time. He's got a really quick release from three-point land. He can make plays too. I needed him to score for my team. We were a young basketball team, and when Dylan Harper was out for a month with a high ankle sprain and some time, I really needed him to score, and he scored 39 points at Assembly Hall in Indiana, 37 at, Northwestern. So he's really a unique talent, but he's a great kid. You guys will love him. He's an energy giver. The community will like him a ton. He's a good teammate, and he's extremely coachable. Never been spoiled, had to earn everything he's gotten. One high school, one AAU team, one college. He's not one of those kind of kids. So he played with whoever was around him. And, he saw a lot of obstacles, triple teamed, double teamed. He got all that. He didn't have 3 other 5 stars running around the court with him, so he's improved a great deal, and he's going to keep his best basketball is definitely ahead of him too, which is really exciting.
So, Steve, to that point, you guys obviously didn't have the season I think anyone was expecting coming into the year. How did Ace, but also Dylan, handle that internally, right? Like dealing with the scrutiny that they were receiving as top recruits, but also just like, hey, the team is struggling. We're not where we want to be. So like, how did they lead your guys' practices? What was it like for them navigating that situation?
I will tell you, and these are 2 kids that have been through nothing but obstacles their whole career. Again, they both went to one high school. They didn't play on an all-star team high school. They could have went to any of those places, played with 7 other 5-star kids. They accept challenges. We play in an 18-team league, and only 8 of us went to the NCAA tournament. So there's 10 really good teams. These guys were guarded differently in every single game. They had to learn from tape. They didn't even have the luxury of playing teams twice because we're in an unbalanced schedule league. So, we play a team one night, Iowa, and the next night, I can't even go over the Iowa tape for the next time we play Iowa because we're not playing them again. So these kids had to learn how to make adjustments on the fly at halftime. They had to learn a lot from film. They really went through a lot, and they did a great job. I mean, they're both were 18 years old playing in college basketball. It's the oldest time in college basketball history. We played against 25 and 26-year-olds. But I would say to them all the time, this is going to prepare them for next year. You're playing 25 and 6-year-olds next year. So, they'll be ready for the challenge, and they love basketball. Some kids are born to play basketball. These 2, when they came in the gym, they were ready to practice and play no matter what the day was like. They were happiest in the gym.
Going back to Ace specifically, you mentioned that you were scouting him, since he was a freshman. You scouted him there. He played one role there. You had him and you needed him to score, especially when Dylan was out. Now he's going to come to Philadelphia, and, despite their injuries, they still have a lot of talent, and they expect to try to compete again this year. How do you think he would handle, and how do you think he can excel sort of buying into maybe in more of an off-ball role, more of like a 4th option type, if everyone is healthy?
I mean, he played 4 positions for me, and when Dylan was out, he brought the ball up every time he rebounded the ball too. So he really has a unique skill set. He can really pass the ball too. You didn't see that, and again, I saw it for 4 years of recruiting him, and I saw it in practice and what have you. In games, I wanted him to take shots, but um, he can really blend in. I mean, I see him playing the 2 and the 3 right off the bat, and in time, he can really rebound and bring the ball up. He's versatile. As his body continues to mature too, he'd be a perfect, small 4, that could play on the perimeter. He's an elite shooter from deep. Like when I tell you quick release, and at his size and with his vertical jump, like quick release, really hard to guard kind of guy. But I think his versatility, he and both Dylan Harper can play multiple positions. Like, so if you have a better point guard and you need him to play the 2 or the 3 or he'll be able to do that in time. And I think he'll end up being one of the best scorers in the league in time. He can flat out score in all levels.
Rutgers head coach Steve Pikiell joining us here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Derek Bodner, Kyle Newbeck, Devon Givens. Steve, when you talk about his shooting and his scoring and all of those things with it, as a coach, can you give us the difference for you, because this has been talked about with Ace Bailey, the difference between a tough shot maker and one that's just taking a bad shot in the sense of, you're scouting overall. As you said, some people in the league, you don't like some of the things that they're saying about your player, but you had him in the gym, all of that. But the tough shot maker versus one that, hey, you shouldn't be taking that shot.
I just like the shot maker part of that equation. I always say people get, there's certain, I watch Jason Tatum play and I say, that's a bad shot, but it goes in, and it's only a bad shot when your guy can't make it. He has a unique knack, even practices, and how he works out. He works out on taking shots at different speeds and at different angles, and I've never been around a guy that's more unique in that way. And to the regular guy, and I was a regular player at UConn. I wasn't a great player. I was a regular player. Every shot was tough. To him, he's like, Coach, if I rise up in the lane, he cannot guard me. He has a good confidence about his game and his ability to make shots that probably other people would say were tough. But I hear that a lot. I've talked to every GM in the league and, shot selection. And I said, listen, this guy got guarded by the best player on every team guarded him. Our league is 18 coaches that can flat out coach. Like this guy's seen double teams from the baseline. He's seen triple teams in high school. His high school team wasn't like Mount Verde. It wasn't like Lalamere. It wasn't one of those high schools. It was some teams put 4 guys on him, so he's seen a little bit of everything, on the court, and he's just been able to adapt. But he's going to make shots in the pros. He is a, shot maker.
Steve, to the point about the coverages he was facing, one of the questions a lot of people have had is, he didn't get to the rim maybe as much as people expected a player of his caliber to. So I guess, what did you see there in terms of, how much of that is on him to make some improvements versus how he's being covered? And what do you think the key is for him at the next level to, grow as a driver and a guy who's, finishing at the rim in the half court?
I mean, I laugh sometimes. I had 2 of the best players in the country, and I hear about the 3% of what they didn't do. I don't think Ace shaves yet. I don't think he shaves. I think and I laugh all the time. I said, do we want to talk about the 97%? Like, every player can improve. I think one of he was 18 years old. Like I just said, I think this guy, when he's 22 years old, what he can do as an 18-year-old was, crazy. And, did he get to the basket enough? I also give a lot of credit to the opponents that we play all the time too. Like, they're trying to take away something, and they couldn't take away some of his shot making ability, but maybe they could, hit them and club them and, rotate guys over, double team them before, on drive. So, they all did a pretty decent job of trying to take away something. he'll continue to grow. I mean, his basketball knowledge and how he soaked it in. He had to learn 4 positions for us this year too, which is not easy for any high school kid to come in and learn college at 4 positions. So, I think he does so many good things that the things he needs to work on, I think really more it's just going to take some experience in his body, keep maturing. And, you're going to say this guy's pretty much a complete package. He can shoot it, he can pass it, he can get to the rim. He does some spectacular, plays that you kind of scratch your head on. And he's a worker. So he's going to work at those things. He's very goal oriented.
Steve, you thought you were clear in the offseason, but we have overtime here, man, on our show. We have 60 minutes of show, but when we get to a certain mark, we got to let people know that we have to go into overtime, and we're going to do that at allphly.com. Thank everybody on the TV side, on the Fast Channel, but we're going to overtime here with head coach from Rutgers, Steve Pikiell.
So there's still, I feel, a little bit of uncertainty with Dylan, so I want to ask you a couple questions about him as well. He is somebody who I think a lot of people look at the scoring, the ability to get to the rim, draw fouls, get to the line, all of that stuff. But I thought he made a lot of really impressive passes, whether that's dump off the big men, kickouts. How much do you think he can grow as a playmaker, and how do you think he fits alongside other guards like the Sixers have here with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McKee?
Yeah. You know what the great, I mean, in high school too, he played off the ball. In the McDonald's game, he was MVP. In the Jordan Brand game, he played off the ball at times. I handed him the ball. That was the deal when he came here. And I actually slept well at night knowing that he had the ball in his hands because he really can get in the lane, and his size helps him read passing lanes. And, he was really good at watching film and dissecting how they're guarding screen coverage and then realizing what was available to him. And I think as he gets to that pro level, it'd even be better because he'll be kicking the ball out to 6'10" guys that could, shoot the ball and make plays for him and what have you. But he's going to get buckets too. He's a bucket getter. And I think that's what intrigues, the teams that have called about him, that they can play him on the ball or off the ball. And he's very comfortable in both, in both roles. And he knows how to play. I mean, his brother plays in the NBA. His father obviously played, and his mother played at New Orleans. I mean, this is some tremendous DNA. We got to get a couple more Harpers in the hopper and get them here.
Could you speak to the fact of when we talk about point guards, especially in today's league, there are those certain ones like Maxey, for instance, on the Sixers, where these guys have just speed. And when you look at someone like Harper, where that comes up a lot, where he doesn't have that quickness, that speed in general, but he does it in a methodical way where he does it at his pace. So how do you see that translating, and watching it on a daily basis and watching him do it that way? How good is he at that, where he can manipulate the defense in the way that
he's really crafty more than anything. Like, people say, Jalen Brunson comes to mind, but he's way bigger, and, he's got pop in his legs. Like I would tell him all the time, you got to take it out for, like a run every now and then. He's got emergency athletic ability that every now and then he would go baseline and dunk on somebody. People say, I didn't know. Oh yeah, he can do that too. So he's got a shiftiness to him. He's really good with the ball. I mean, very few times, and he's another guy, double team, triple team, got blitzed a lot on screen coverages, didn't turn the ball over, just has a knack for keeping the ball in front of him and going to where he needs to go, to get to where he needs to get. And, I think that's a lot of, his AAU getting double and triple teamed. Like, he just had to learn how to adjust to all that kind of stuff. But, he could stay in front of people too. I mean, he played against all the best guards in the country and has, from the USA national team to McDonald's All-American game to the Jordan Brand game to all the places he's been. And he's probably had more NBA workouts with NBA players than any guy I've ever been around. He just, because of our location, he could go into New York and play against. And then he's at Chris Paul's event. He's at, Steph Curry's. He's guarding Steph Curry. Remember him coming back from Steph Curry's campus, and I guarded him the whole time I was there. So, this kid has been around, and he's played against the best. And his brother, every day, you should see those two go at it. It's it's really unbelievable, like watching those two play one-on-one against each other. So he's hardened, and he's got as much experience against NBA guys as probably any 18-year-old.
Steve, to the point you've made about, these guys are very young, and Ace is one of the youngest players in the entire draft class. What's one thing for both guys that you saw improve the most from when you got them and when they left? And that could be something as simple as maybe it's off court, right? Maybe it's, they got much better at film study or much better at this part of. What's something that jumps out at you about how both guys improved?
I think the biggest thing was how to prepare yourself film wise. I think college is so different. You really have to soak yourself into film. And Ace, playing 4 positions, had to learn a lot from film. And the way I moved him around was not an easy thing for him. But I don't know how much film they had used prior to being in college, but they got an overdose. And at first then they saw the results of it, like how that helped them. I only wish we had played teams twice, like a normal league, like you get the advantage of the film really for that game. And
Yeah.
These guys didn't. If they stayed another year, which I could have probably tried to talk them into staying another year for film. Hey, for film purposes, you think that would have went over? But they learned a lot in film, and I think defensively is where they improved from start to finish the most. High school doesn't have those same emphasis, and they're such good athletes and with such good length that they could just guard guys at the high school level. You come to college now, some guys are trying to bully them. Some guys are just trying to use their quickness to go by them. Some guy, they had to guard all kinds of different guys. And so they improved a lot. Film watch and defense, at the end there, they were so improved in those areas.
I think for the most part, people only have one major concern about Dylan, and that's, the pull-up shooting. Like, I think off the catch numbers were really good, pulling up a little more inconsistent. I guess, what can you tell us about the work he's putting in off the court and your confidence on that eventually translating?
Yeah, I mean, he works so the work part of it's always been there and stuff. And, he was a streaky, he's got good range. He's got a terrific step back 3 that, he's kind of perfected. And now that the season's been over, I mean, it's all he does, and these kids have like a hunger, like they want to be all-stars, like down the road. They're so there's a work ethic that goes with that and a drive that they get. They do the 3 workouts a day. They're up early. We'd have practice. They'd be up in the morning. They'd get their workout in. We'd have weightlifting. They'd practice with us, and then they'd be back at night. They get the grind part of being a really good player. And his shooting ability, he's got good form. He's a lefty too. That makes him a little unique. Like, in time, he's going to be a really, really good, percentage wise. And again, I had to have him take some tough shots too. Like, he had the ball in his hands at the end of the shot clock a lot. So, his percentages will be a little bit different with another guard like him running side by side, where he can get some easy ones. He was giving other people easy ones. He wasn't getting a lot of easy ones himself.
All right. Coach, when you lose 2 players like this headed to the NBA draft, you got to reload a little bit. How's things going getting ready for the 25-26 season?
You know what? They helped us in recruiting too. We have the 30th ranked recruiting class in the country that, came in. So back-to-back really good recruiting classes. Just this day and age, you got to keep them now. It's just name, image, and likeness has changed a lot of things. So we were a big program in developing players, and now we got to figure out how to keep them. But, it's going to be really hard to get 2 players like this moving forward in the future. We were blessed because I had coached Ron, and blessed my assistants did a good job, and blessed because we saw Ace as a freshman, and actually that meant something to him. We were the first ones involved, and when it came down to the end, that meant something. It doesn't mean enough to a lot of people, whether you're first or not, but it meant a lot to him. And so we were thankful for that. And I think these 2 kids had tremendous confidence. Like, they wanted to be around good people, and they wanted to be on our program that was going to take care of them. They weren't worried about, they knew they were good enough to play at the NBA level, and They didn't have to go to the shiniest toy in the block. They knew they could have went any place, and they were going to be talked about in the lottery pick.
All right. Well,
thank you so much for your time today, Coach. Hopefully, you said 30th ranked recruiting class. Let's see if we can bump that up even a little bit more if possible.
Let's
right?
go.
But,
Let's go. Give me another guy. Let's go.
hey, where you going to be on draft night? Are you going to be in Brooklyn?
I'm definitely going to be, I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to have some fun, and I'm going to enjoy their two of the best families too. So I'm happy for their families, and they have terrific representation. And, you know, again, one high school, one college, one AAU team. I mean, there's no longer, I'm recruiting a guy right now. He's on his 7th school in 7 years. So
oh, man.
those days of one and one are unbelievably, you know, rare. And, you know, you get 2 lottery picks too. That's unbelievably rare, but it says a lot about Rutgers University too, where you can come here and be a lottery pick. So hopefully that gets us a couple more in the future.
Well, for this one, I need to see the Steve Pikiell NBA draft night suit. I need to see what the suit looks like on draft
Those
night.
guys told me I got to step it up. So
see, exactly. I already know, man. Steve Pikiell, head coach of Rutgers men's basketball. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Steve.
Coach, on this Monday. Good luck with the draft, and good luck with the season upcoming. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good day.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.